Hey guys, an Empire Fallen here, and bringing you another bat rep. Now, quick disclaimer: I am coming down with the flu, cough, cough. So my voice is a bit foggy to go alongside this poor audio that I have going on here. But yeah, so last week I put out the first battle report. Got a great response from the community and friends who viewed it. It was quite surprising at how good the response was. So it was. Had this game a couple of days later, decided it was time to get the battle report up for it. Now, I have actually played another game, and I do have the photos there for another battle report. I don't know when I'm going to get time to make that, hopefully in the next couple of days. So this is game 2 of the Hawke's Bay Regional Championships for 9th Age. I'm up against Warriors of Chaos Army. Now, my last game, I walked away with 3 points, I believe, against an Ogre Kingdom's army. So I'm on the back foot. I'm going into this game, and I'm really expecting list versus list. I can take on this opponent and get a small win. I'm not expecting a glorious one, but a small win would be really good. So let's go into deployment. So my opponent's deployment, left to right, he's got a unit of Warhounds, one standard Wasteland Chariot, another unit of Warhounds. Behind that unit of Warhounds is a unit of 16 Wasteland Warriors. They've got Halberds, Musicians, Standard Bearer, Mark of Wrath, and the Banner of Fury. And then on his right side, he's got a unit of 5 Crusher Knights with a Wrath Priest on a Crusher, who's got the Soul Reaper, Axe of Battle, and Crown of Scorn. Another unit of 5 Hounds, and 2 Mauler Chariots. Now, I'd like you to take a moment, and I'd like you to look at that unit of 5 Hounds sitting in front of those Crushers. That unit is a very important unit, as you'll see as the game goes on. Your whole objective in this game is to follow that unit of Hounds and watch them, and watch the mischief that they get up to. Going back the other way, right to left, on my deployment, you've got my unit of 14 Sisters of Slaughter, unit of 10 Corsairs with Repeater Handbows, my mage on a Pegasus, knowing 3 spells. I rolled up Stars Align, Skyring, and Unerring Strike for this game. Another unit of 10 Corsairs with Repeater Handbows. Then on the left, you've got Repeater Bolt Thrower down the bottom, 2 units of Repeater Auxiliaries in a forest, 2 units of 15 Tower Guard, another Repeater Handbow, another Repeater Crossbow, and then on the far left you've got a unit of 10 Corsairs that are just barely in this picture. And my opponent vanguards the far left unit of Warhounds like so. Now, we went backwards and forwards in deployment for a little while, and then my opponent dropped everything and elected to give me first turn. So we go into turn 1, Dread Elves. So the board looks like this before movement. Down on my right side, I push up on the Sisters Slaughter and the unit of Corsairs on the far right. Put my mage in front of the building so that he can start casting out Unerring Strike at those smaller chariots. Just trying to plug off some wounds here and there so that they're more manageable when we get into combat. Then on the left hand side, I start moving up my Tower Guard behind, sort of covered by that hill so he can't charge me, just so that when he starts pushing forward, I will hopefully be able to get a few flank charges off. When we go into magic phase, I get 10 power dice. On my first spell, I roll double 6s. Now, this is not a 5 dice spell, I only 4 dice it. I can't remember what the miscast results were, but they didn't have any effect in the game. I don't even remember what the spell was. I think it may have just been Stars Align, I think. And that ended my magic phase pretty quickly. We go into the shooting phase, and I believe I put the Repeater Auxiliaries into this unit of dog in front of the Warriors. I think it took both units to kill them off, but I killed them off. Put the Bolt Throwers into the smaller chariot. Didn't get any wounds off on that. I rolled abysmally, to be fair. And we go into Warriors of the Dark Gods, turn 1. So his Warhounds in front of his Crushers charge into my Mage on Pegasus. I elect to flee, purely on the aspect that I I'm hoping that the Warhounds will clog up the Crushers from being able to really do anything. And he charges both of his Mauler Chariots into my Sisters of Slaughter. Now, I must have, in the previous turn, I must have actually flicked off some wounds on the one on the left, because I think it goes in for the charge with only 2 wounds remaining. Might be 3 wounds remaining. The dogs fail the charge. The far left Mauler Chariot runs into the trees and stops, doesn't connect, takes a DT for its trouble, but the far right Mauler Chariot gets into the Sisters of Slaughter. And then the board looks like this after movement, so not a hell of a lot of other movement. Yeah. So we're going to comment on the bottom right. Sisters of Slaughter take flails. I think I managed to get 1 or 2 wounds off in this chariot. He manages to do 2 wounds to me. He fluffed his invictus and his attacks. He wins by 1 for the charge, and in typical form, my sisters are unable to stick after a round of combat, and running, he chases them down. So not a good first turn for me. And we go into Dark Elves turn 2, so the board looks like this. Not a lot of movement on my part. Corsairs on the far right turn around to face the chariot. I believe I moved the Corsairs in the centre up slightly, and just off from this picture on the far left, the Corsairs move up into the ruins, so they're closer to the dogs there to shoot. Not much happens in the magic phase. I cast something on this unit of Corsairs. It could have been Skyring, I think, but the Law Attribute onto them. We go into the shooting phase, and the units of Repeater Auxiliaries fire off at the Wasteland Warriors and kill off 3 of them. And the Bolt Thrower on the hill fires at the Crusher Knights, and I think we only do 1 wound to them. The other Bolt Thrower doesn't shoot anything, or doesn't hit anything, I can't remember. It didn't do anything of significance anyway. The unit of 10 Corsairs on the far left shoot at the dogs and only manage to pick off 1 wound there. And we go into Warriors of the Dark Gods, turn 2. So the warriors up on the hill decide to charge down the hill at my Corsairs in the centre. I elect to flee them. The Mauler Chariot in the forest tries charging into the flank of the unit of Corsairs on the right. I elect to flee there as well, and he takes the final wound to dangerous terrains on his failed charge, and he's dead. And the rest of the board looks like this. So I lost a couple of Corsairs when I fled from the warrior charge due to dangerous terrain in the buildings. Dogs push on up, heading towards my Bolt Thrower and my auxiliaries. His Crushers come around, and I don't believe it's in this. It's just outside of the picture. The dogs that were on the far left come and wrap around the Corsairs, trying to get to the Bolt Thrower on the hill. And we go into my turn 3, Dreadow's turn 3. So only charge, the Tower Guard attempt to charge the flank of the warriors. I think I needed 10 on the dice and failed it. It was a long bong charge, but I mean, had I gotten in, that unit of warriors would have been long gone and would have been some easy points for me. Rest of movement, the Corsairs that had fled from the warriors the previous turn failed to rally, continued on fleeing, fled through my mage, caused my mage to panic, and my mage runs off the board. Now, the saddest thing is that I literally, the moment that I fled the Corsairs from the warriors the turn before and they'd landed where they were, I just said to my opponent, just you watch, they're not going to rally, they're going to run through that mage. Mage is off the board as well, and what happened? That happened. He accused me of jinxing myself in the game for the rest of the game, actually. Not much else happened in movement. I believe I may have shuffled the auxiliaries around this turn. The Corsairs on the far right rally and reform to face the onslaught of the oncoming Mauler Chariot, and the Corsairs on the far left turn around to face the dogs to shoot at them. So because we have no mage left, we go into shooting. The Courses on the far left shoot at the dogs and kill them off, and I put the rest of my shooting into the warriors, and I think I knocked them down another 4 or 5 models, and that's my turn. Warriors of the Dark Gods, turn 3, so as Mauler Chariot charges into my Corsairs, we stand and shoot, don't think we do see the wound, and he gets in. His Warhounds charge into my Bolt Thrower, and his Wasteland Chariot charges around the hill into my Tower Guard. So the Mauler Chariot gets in, the dogs get in, and the Wasteland Chariot gets in. There's no other moving that I can speak of, so we go into combat. Mauler Chariot comes in and crushes the unit of Corsairs and overruns as so. The Warhounds go against the Bolt Thrower and only manage to do 2 wounds to the Bolt Thrower. We can't do anything back. They win combat by 3 and we are destroyed. He reforms as such. And funniest part is the Wasteland Chariot comes crashing into my Tower Guard, whiffs on the impact hits, only does 2 wounds, and the Tower Guard smite it before the guys get a chance to swing. We go into my turn 4. The Tower Guard up by the hill attempt to charge the warriors again and fail again. I think they fail by 1 inch. It wasn't that long of a charge either. I think I need an 8 on 2 dice, and I think I rolled a 7, so it wasn't that long of a charge. It just puts them in quite a bad position now with being able to be double charged by the Crushers and the Warriors. Not a lot else happened in the rest of the movement. I shuffled the auxiliaries back to try and stop the dogs from being able to make a beeline for the Bolt Thrower on the hill. I think I moved the other unit of Tower Guard back slightly, don't position them exactly how I should have. Bit of a mistake, as you'll see later on. And I put my auxiliary shooting into the Warriors brick, bring them down to 3 models left, and I think I put a Bolt Thrower into there as well, and I put the Bolt Thrower into the unit of dogs and only managed to pick off 1 wound there. And we go into my opponent's turn 4, so overlook of the board, his Crusher Knights and his last 3 warriors attempt to charge into my Tower Guard. His dogs down the bottom charge into the flank of my auxiliaries, and the dogs get in. The Crushers get into the Tower Guard, but the warriors fail the charge. They stumble forward, and the only other thing that he can do in movement is he moves his Mauler Chariot up towards the flanks of the auxiliaries as well. We go into combat. We start down with the dogs. He does 2 wounds to me. I only managed to kill 1 dog of his. I lose combat by 4, and I'm not steadfast because I'm in the forest. Actually, I'm wondering now whether I was steadfast because the majority of my units are not in the forest. Anyways, I break. He pursues and catches me and rams right into the next unit of auxiliaries. Rinse and repeat, he says. We go into the combat with the Juggernauts. The Crushers, I managed to kill 1. I must have done 5 wounds because one of those Crushers had a wound from a Bolt Thrower earlier game. So I do 5 wounds to the Crusher Knights, and he proceeds to kill off my unit to man and overruns as so. We go into my turn 5. Now I had to weigh up whether I was going to charge into the Crusher Knights for a while there with my other unit of Tower Guard. Now had they gone an extra inch, I would have been in the flank, in which case I would have happily made that charge. I think I just would have torn them to shreds in the flank. However, because he didn't go that extra inch, I would have been in the front, and I just wasn't confident enough. I mean, I just watched him rip apart one of my whole units. I still need this Tower Guard to be able to clear me out some points, try and get those warriors. So instead I march the Tower Guard around them. I bring the Corsairs on the left up, and there's not much else I can do in movement. So we go into shooting does nothing. We go into combat. The dogs in the flank of my auxiliaries. I don't manage to kill a single one of them. They kill one auxiliary. They win by 3. I'm not steadfast because I'm in the forest, and I break and they run me down again. Now this is that unit of dogs at the beginning of the game I told you, keep your eye on. Watch what they're doing. So they go there, and that's the end of my turn. Bottom of turn 5, Warriors of the Dark Gods. So the dogs charge up the hill at the last remaining bolt thrower up there. His warriors, the rest of his stuff turns around to face the unit of Tower Guard, basically. There's not much else for them to do. The dogs kill off the bolt thrower up top and reform to face the Corsairs. And we go into my turn 6, so there's not a lot that I can do. So I charge the Tower Guard into the unit of warriors, just trying to get the points. They get in. I use Corsairs, I believe. I believe I tried charging the Corsairs into the rear of the Crushers. I don't know why I did that. I don't know what I was thinking. But they failed the charge anyway. The Tower Guard get in against the warriors and kill them off to a man before the warriors get to swing and reform. I know I'm coming into the final turn. I know I've got a unit of Juggernauts, Crushers. I keep calling them Juggernauts from the previous game system. Crushers coming in. I know I've got the Mauler Chariot coming in. My only goal now is to try and take off enough wounds on that Crusher unit to get it under 25% and get half points for it. Yeah. And we go into my opponent's turn 6. So dogs charge down the hill into the Corsairs. As predicted, the Mauler Chariot and the Crushers charge into the Tower Guard. I was hoping the Mauler Chariot would fail here. It's only movement 6, I believe. So there was a chance. I think it was still needed 8 on the dice. Dogs get into the Corsairs, and both the Mauler Chariot and the Crushers do get into the Tower Guard. So start with the dogs against Corsairs. He only manages to click off 1 wound against Corsairs. I do nothing back. I break. Even though I'm steadfast, I run and he fails to catch me. So he only gets half points with that unit. We go into the combat in the middle. And he does 2, 4, 5 wounds on impact hits with the chariot. And I had to really decide here because there's only 2 wounds left on that chariot. No, 3 wounds left on that chariot. I didn't think I had enough to be able to pick them off. So I just put all of my attacks into the Crusher unit, just trying to get them down to 25%. I think I needed to do 6 wounds to do so. And I do exactly the 6 wounds needed for it. And then he proceeds to wipe the unit out exactly to a man. And the board looks like this at the end of the game. What a bloody game. First off, great opponent. Don't get to play this guy often enough, even though he lives only like 5 minutes away from me. I've known him probably since I got into the tournament gaming scene. And yeah, so basically he threw his list together, didn't play test it, nothing, just put things on paper and submitted it, which is what was the inspiration behind me doing basically the exact same thing with the Dread Elves list. Yeah, big loss. We were playing the center scenario as well, so he managed to get the scenario points there. Scenario, it would have been it was a 16-4, so it would have been a 13-7 before scenario, so it wasn't too bad. Yeah, losing my mage so early on in the game really hurt because I was really banking on Unerring Strike, and losing the auxiliaries when I did, I could have really used them for at least another round of shooting. But that unit of dogs I told you to watch out for, guys, I added it up at the end of the game, and if you count, you've got the unit of fleeing Corsairs there, you've got the 2 units of repeated bolt throwers, you've got the 2 units of auxiliaries, you've got the mage. Basically, he gets the points on the mage because, like, he doesn't get the points on the mage. Huh? He doesn't get the points on the mage because that was the mage. The Corsairs that was playing from the warriors. Okay, I take it all back. He's still got 800, 900, 1,000 points for a 100-point unit. That unit of dogs, like we were joking about it afterwards, I should have shot the dog. Should have been worried about the warrior, but should have shot dogs. So yeah, so that's game 2 of the Horseplay Regional Championship for me. I'm now sitting on 7 points out of potential 40 after 2 games. It's not looking flash. I'm not expecting now to pull through and get into the semi-finals. I've got 2 more games left in the heats, one against another Warriors of the Dark Gods, which is the game I played last night that I had the photos for. I just haven't, I've got to just make battle report for, and I've got another game against an Undying Dynasties player. So if I can pull out a couple of big wins there, I may still have a chance to get through, but who knows. Until next time, guys, please like, subscribe, and comment, and take it easy. Cheers.